VoyMonk here, video voice vlog. I was kind of thinking this weekend, or recently, about success. Now, I've talked about it on these vlogs about what success means. I mean, what it means to me personally versus what it might mean to other people. And then, of course, what success is said to be in terms of socially. And I gotta say that for the most part, I think in terms of what people anticipate success is, I ultimately think success is something I think that I can honestly say I'm a little bit of afraid of in terms of if it's success by the wrong means or means that I didn't have anything to do with. See, the truth of the matter is the reason I say that is because if, let's just say I'm successful, and I'm successful based on a misconception, or add to it, maybe I'm successful based on something borrowed, something that doesn't really have anything to do with what I've created. I think the problem with that is that once success in, I would say, a subjective term that I just presented it, I think in the end, it ultimately is one of those things that, at least for me, I can't be sure of, and I always feel vulnerable. See, for me, if I'm ultimately successful, I'd rather know why I'm successful. I'd like to know that I know exactly how I became successful. And that ultimately, worst case scenario, if I lost, money or the success that I had, that I'd always have the ability to get it back. And so that's why I say in terms of being afraid of success, that's something I think warrants a bit of fear. Because I don't think that ultimately perception, even if it's at our benefit, is always a good thing. Because oftentimes, if I'm having success based on something that's not true or something that's a misconception, my fear is that ultimately it will be revealed. Personally, me, also, I've had a lot of experience where, because I'm a bit antisocial, I do have a huge problem as far as sometimes being personable with random people in general. I'm not good at these types of things. I think ultimately it has to do with, a lot of the issues that I have, but I also can say it has to do with, who I am as a human being. And so even when it comes to, thoughts and conversations or interactions or whatever, I am not someone who's generally blunt, but at the same time, I'm also one of those people that has a hard time faking something if I just don't believe in something or I don't find something true. However, I have been a phony. I have gone along to get along, and usually what that winds up being, especially with my ability to kind of speak and talk and that sort of thing, sometimes I've had a way of presenting myself in a phony, in a fake way. And even if to some degree I've found success, ultimately there was always the fear that whatever I could make up would ultimately come crashing down. I would say as a child that was probably something that I was pretty good at as far as making things up and living an illusion, because that fantasy was oftentimes a lot better than the reality that I rejected and or most of the times had to deal with and cope with. I think that's something that maybe a lot of people deal with, or they don't, or at least experience in life in general. And so, like I said, when it comes to success, I think because I have so much experience with deluding and sometimes avoiding my own fears, that it's one of those things that, yeah, I guess it kind of always lingers with me in terms of where I get and how I get. And so I guess with this channel and doing the things that I do here, that's why I'm always careful of how I build and the steps that I make, because I guess I'm really one of those people that has been in a situation where I've, counted my chickens before they hatched, or put more than my eggs in more than one, and all my eggs in one basket, and paid the price. So, yeah, probably a strange way to start out this week, but that's something that I was thinking about. What are the follies of success? I guess that's kind of something I might continue to think about later on this week. So until next time, take care.